This is the Nolan X-903 Ultra Carbon, which I've been wearing over the last couple of months. So is this a helmet you should be considering? Let's take a look. Nolan is an Italian brand which, much like Arai, do all of their own development and production in-house in their factory in Italy. Now, they used to run two brands separately, Nolan and x-lite. Nolan tended to be the lower cost offering, generally using thermoplastic shells. And then they had x-lite, which was a more upmarket offering, if you like, which utilised carbon fibre shells. That is now changed, and that's all come under the single branding umbrella of Nolan. The x-lite name has gone. So what is this helmet and who is it for? Nolan pitch it in their travel section, but for me, in essence, it is a sports touring helmet with crossover potential. So before I get on to talking about how this helmet has performed, let's just take a quick look at its construction and features. It is obviously a full carbon shell, and it's offered in sizes extra small to extra large, and that size range incorporates 3 different shell sizes. Let's start with the visor, which is nice and wide, a really good field of view, but it has a very interesting magnetic assembly on the hinge here, which makes it really easy to remove. All you need to do is move the visor to its release position and pull it away at the fixing. To replace it, the magnet simply snaps it back into the correct position. I think it's a really good system. It's really well engineered and it works really well. Visor changes on this, super easy. The helmet's got a single central tab to open it. The only locking mechanism really is just to push fit it down so that it clicks a little latch in the bottom there. Easy to open with gloves, not a problem. You've got various stages that you can lock the visor into throughout its throat, which is nice, and they are really nice and strong. Now, admittedly, I've only had the helmet for a couple of months, or just a little bit longer than that. I've worn it as much as I can, but I don't know what it's going to wear like. So far, these hold exceptionally well. They're nice and strong. I've never had an issue where the visor has dropped down in use or gone up when I've got it in a set position and I'm riding. The initial opening, or what many people call a city opening, works really well. You get a decent amount of size in the aperture, so you get a good airflow. The X-903 does come with an anti-fog insert, but unusually this one is fitted at the factory, so that saves you the job of doing this when you take your brand new helmet out of the box. I also like the fact that it's factory fitted, because that means it is very much likely to have been fitted in the correct environment, so the risk of getting hair or dust or debris between the visor and the insert is very low indeed. The helmet also has a drop-down visor, again with multiple positions across its action, and it gives 400 nm UV protection, just like your sunglasses. Speaking of which, if you are a glasses wearer, then the Nolan EA or eyewear adaptive liner means you'll have no issues. It is, of course, fully removable for cleaning, but you'll also notice there's this very interesting liner positioning control function here. Now, this connector at the rear base allows you to subtly change the position of the liner to offer a better fit if needed. Obviously, there's limitations on that. If you've got completely the wrong size, it's not going to make up for that. But if you think, actually, I just need a little less or a little bit more room, you can unclip this, pull it, which moves the liner in or out slightly, reset it, and away you go. So again, the ability to get that to fit nicely is there out of the box. I found that Nolan helmets and of course x-lite helmets have always fitted me really well. I just have a head form that suits these helmets. Now, my head shape is intermediate oval, possibly leaning towards long oval. So I would say if a showy helmet fits you, then you should have no problems with this at all. And by the same token, the latter Arai helmets, so the Quantic and the Tor X5, which have got a little bit more of an oval shape, very similar to this as well. Touching very briefly on the weight, this is a size large. The sticker on the back suggests it will weigh 1,580 grams or 1,620 with options. When I put it on the scales, it was just a little bit over that, but only a fraction. So it's a decent helmet in terms of weight. As I said, I've worn this all day, every day, or multiple days, and I've never had an issue. Never felt that it's felt heavy. Haven't had any problems with neck ache and all that sort of stuff. So I think it scores well in that respect. To finish off, it comes with a breath guard, a small chin sock, a double D-ring chin strap, and it's ready to take an NCOM Bluetooth comms unit. But having said that, the side profile of the helmet has been kept flat, which will make it easy to fit pretty much any third-party comms unit to this. So, how has it performed? Let's start with probably the most important thing, comfort. I've already given you a steer on its head form shape, and it's a lid that I found instantly comfortable. It offers a snug, slightly firm fitting thanks to the EPS element in the cheek pads. And because it offers such a costing experience, I also found it a quiet helmet. Now, of course, I'll have to frame this with my usual caveats when I do a helmet review. This is based on how the helmet fits me. This Nolan helmet fits me extremely well, and given the nature of its lining, that means that I considered it to be a quiet helmet. You may not have exactly the same experience depending on how the helmet fits you. I've ridden many different bikes in this helmet in the time that I've had it. Naked bikes, varying bikes with different screens. And all I can report back is that I've had very low levels of noise transmitted from the shell into the helmet. And to be honest, that's about all I'm able to report back on this. I've worn it on various day trips, including a recent one that I did to Belgium. A very hot trip to Belgium, 30+ degrees. And I have to say, it's been an incredibly comfortable helmet. Vision is excellent, nice and wide, and the clarity of both the visor and the drop down screen are excellent. I've had a bit of rain too on my rides, not a lot, but I have to say that I've not experienced any fogging issues with the insert that was fitted at the factory. The drop down screen comes down a long way, and in this sense it's one of the best I've tried. And it doesn't fit too close to your face too. So again, glasses wearers, depending on your frame, you shouldn't have any problems using this in conjunction with your glasses. Now obviously we need to touch on ventilation. And ventilation, I would say, is adequate rather than exceptional. The chin vent offers nice airflow, but I can't say that I really noticed the top vent very much. However, having said that, on the recent trip to Belgium and on the weather that we've had recently here in the UK, I've been riding in temperatures up to 32 degrees, and despite the dark colour of the helmet, I've never got overheated. So I might have to counter what I've said about that being adequate by saying that actually the ventilation is good. I just haven't noticed it blowing on my head, which is what you get from some other helmets. It could be a case that the distribution of that air is really efficient at moving the air out, but you don't necessarily feel it. So yeah, it's not the breeziest and most open of helmets on the marketplace out there, but it does seem to do a pretty good job. The actions are all smooth, and it looks and feels like a premium product, and it's a helmet I would happily spend my own money on and wear. I think it works for a wide range of bikes. It's ideally suited for touring. It's a helmet that you could wear on pretty much anything. So a very positive experience has obviously led to a very positive review. But are there any negatives or drawbacks about the helmet? Well, not really. Obviously the ventilation, which I've touched on, could be one, but as I've stated, although you don't necessarily feel the breeze, I've never got overheated in this helmet, even in high temperatures, so it's probably more effective than I'd actually realised. I guess that could be one of the drawbacks. This is quite a dark helmet, and if you're looking in the range for a lighter coloured helmet, which is personally what I prefer, there isn't a lot of choice. You've still got this same design that has a white top. That probably would have been my selection, but the helmet wasn't available for me to try in that colourway. Obviously they want to show off the carbon, so you've always got this black element here. Now the finish is lovely. The paint, the metallic is really nice. The finish on the carbon and seeing that weave is lovely. The recommended retail price for this helmet is $499.99, but given its finish and its performance, I think that's a reasonable price to pay for this. So to wrap up, as I've said, good helmet, lots of nice features. I think it's a premium helmet. It certainly looks and feels like a premium helmet. So if Nolan is one of those brands that you've never really considered before and you are looking for a really good do-it-all sports touring helmet, then I'd definitely recommend adding this to your shortlist. If you've got any questions, if there's anything that I've missed, then let me know in the comment section down below and I'll come back to you with a response. And all that leaves me to say is until next time, thanks for watching, take care, ride safe, and I'll see you soon. Bye.